Welcome back to the podcast. Today we will be talking about eating at a conference, or basically when there's free food available and you feel like it should be a free for all. But first, I wanted to read a review from John's Pretty One. Fantastic information. I have listened to the first 4 parts of the podcast and I'm learning a lot of great information. Kelly is so helpful and positive. Using the Macros app has allowed me to see that I thought I was getting enough protein when I really wasn't. Kelly sharing her knowledge has allowed me to add more protein to my diet. I love the fact that she shared 84 grams of avocado has the same amount of calories as 84 grams of ice cream. Well, John's Pretty One, thank you so much for this review. Writing a review is super helpful. I read each and every one of them. I would love for you all to leave a review or share this on social media and tag me so that I can thank you. You are helping spread the word and crushing the myths of the dieting world. So let's get into how to eat at a conference and stay on track. So I'm not sure if all of you know this about me, but I did ultrasound for 20 plus years before I started as a macro coach. My last job I was at for 16 to 17 years, and it was in a very large privately owned OBGYN office here in Erie, PA. I worked full time there until I had my kids. Then I continued part time. It was with women and families. I truly loved my patients. Anyhow, each year we would go to these conferences for continuing education credits. They would be in bigger cities where there were lots going on, great food, great opportunities. I love them because I love to travel. We went to Disney many times, Vegas, Dallas, Fort Lauderdale, Chicago, so many amazing cities. I would take my family, and it was a great opportunity. So at these conferences, though, there would be food galore, breakfast before the conference started, pastries galore, bagels galore, a mid-morning snack full of full-size Snicker bars. Lunch would be big meaty sandwiches with thick bread and potato or pasta salad. Mid-afternoon would be another snack, a bag of chips. Dinner was a celebration with a theme and drinks galore, not to mention the desserts. So pre-children, before I had kids, when I would go to these, I would eat and drink all of the things and not think a thing about it. Heck, you're on vacation, the company is footing the bill. I was totally not mindful at all. And I would drink and eat as much as possible. Well, then I was pregnant or I was nursing my kids for 8+ years. Well, a tired mom that is nursing or pregnant is just hungry and happy that someone else is cooking. So I ate all of the things. But it was when my youngest was about 2, I decided I feel like crap when I eat like this at conferences. Plus, I'm new to counting macros and I want to figure this out. I was ready to feel good. I was ready to fuel my body, but also enjoy and not restrict myself at these conferences. I made all of these changes that I will share with you today, and these are how I coach my private clients. Lots of my clients are busy travelers. So if this is you, listen up, because these tips, hacks, and mindsets can be used for just about any meal outside of the home. So don't turn me off if you don't go to conferences, okay? This is also for anybody that eats outside of the home and can't turn down free food. They hear the word free and go crazy and eat all of the things. So tip number 1, I like to set clear, bright lines. For my clients, establishing clear, non-negotiable rules has proven to be a winning strategy. So some of these bright lines might include my 1-plate rule. They adhere to a strict 1-plate policy, filling it though with what they want. filling it with what they want, but no second helpings. So they can opt for a hearty serving of grilled chicken and a generous portion of mixed greens and then a cookie. This choice leaves them feeling both satisfied and guilt-free. One plate, fill it with what you really want, and don't go back for seconds. Rule number 2, bright line number 2, daily dessert limit. Perhaps one dessert per day is the limit. This approach helps avoid overindulging in all of the tempting treats. Perhaps during the conference, you savor a delectable slice of cheesecake as your daily dessert, or perhaps it's that pastry at breakfast. So having a daily dessert limit is super helpful to avoid overindulging. Number 3, a daily drink limit. Now, I know you want to be social, so plan ahead for this. Give yourself a limit. Example, 2 glasses of red wine with dinner. Example, 1 Manhattan with my steak. Another example, 2 high noons at the hotel lobby bar. So I know you want to be social, just plan ahead for this and have a bright line with a daily drink limit. My next tip, distract with conversation. So choosing distraction over temptation has been a go-to strategy that I have taught my private clients. So instead of lingering near the big food spread, they engage in conversations and they network. So during breaks, strike up a conversation with a fellow attendee. It helps successfully steer clear of any unnecessary snacking. Before you know it, the break is over, right? And you didn't even have time to reach for that packaged snack or help yourself to the candy, cookies, or extra snacks that you really don't need. If you have social anxiety, which some of you may, I would go to the bathroom or take a short walk instead of putting yourself in that awkward situation of everyone else is grabbing food. Again, I think I will too. So step outside, get some fresh air, or discover and check out the center, the conference center, or the hotel. Do some exploring and see what there is out there to offer. A lot of times, if my family was with me, I would go see them for a quick hug or a kiss, or make a quick call if they're not there. You can FaceTime them and take a little stroll while you're talking. My next tip, tip 3, I call it outsmarting oneself. So my private clients occasionally employ some psychological tactics or talk to themselves. They talk themselves out of eating certain calorie-dense foods. I have them ask themselves, is it worth it? A lot of times at these conferences, it's the same old food. You can remind yourself that not all free food is worth the caloric investment. You can convince yourself that that bland looking pastry probably isn't worth it, opting instead to save calories for a more enjoyable indulgence later, such as peanut butter pie at that special restaurant that you're going to, that perhaps that restaurant is known for, and leaving that bland looking pastry that you really could have at any of your conferences that you go to. Tip number 4, remembering it's not free. Reminding yourself that the food isn't truly free on your body, and it will quickly talk yourself out of eating another lunch meat sandwich on that calorie thick bread. Perhaps it's stale. So a lot of times at a company sponsored luncheon or conference, you want to get your money's worth or stick it to the company and order or consume as much as possible. Contemplate on how you want your body to feel after indulging. Well, ultimately, that will dissuade you from over-consuming it. So stick it to them and eat as much fruit as possible. Fruit's expensive these days, so stick to the fruit and eat that. That will stick it to them. So tip number 5, committing to tracking. So the act of tracking your food intake, even during conferences, plays a pivotal role in maintaining portion control. So even if you're not tracking in your app, remove the all or nothing mentality and just tracking. Pre-track your day by sitting down the night before, enter your dessert or your 2 drinks. For example, your dinner out, and then you want to go to the conference the next day. So you will know how many calories you have left. If you pre-track the dessert or the drinks and your dinner out, you will know how many calories you have left to consume at the conference. A lot of times I will have my clients just track calories when at the conference and forget about the macro aspect of it. Don't worry so much about the protein. So just track the calories. It simplifies it. It keeps them on track, keeps them losing weight. It keeps them in a calorie deficit because we all know that the calorie deficit is key to weight loss. Tip number 6, sticking to the familiar. So adhering to the familiar has constantly and consistently proven to be effective. So stick to what you know. At mealtime, you can load up on protein such as grilled chicken or shrimp or steak, fresh fruit, and a generous portion of veggies. And of course, don't pass up a delightful dessert, but balance it with the tried and true choices, ones that ones that make you feel good. So for instance, if you bite into that dessert, I want you to ask yourself, is this worth it? If so, carry on. If not, put the fork down, put the cookie down and be done. After all, you didn't pay for it, right? So it's okay to waste it. Tip number 7, writing it down. So taking notes on food consumption during conferences serves as a game changer. It's a tool we use for a lot of my private clients. They usually carry a notebook, making it convenient to jot down their choices, or they use their notes on their phone to, type in what they eat. This practice aids in keeping themselves in check. So for example, if they consumed a morning coffee and a carb, fat, calorie dense breakfast, the notes assist them in deciding whether or not to indulge in that mid-morning snack. So just writing it down serves as a second thought. As you jot down another snack, that will typically lead to reconsidering your choice. So write down the times, what you ate, and then already have your dinner, drink, dessert plan jotted down at the bottom of the paper. I know at these conferences, there's a pen and paper provided most of the time, plus some extra time as your mind kind of wanders to put your eating and your drinking plan on paper and write down what you ate. So just writing it down will help. Try it. And tip number 8, opting for veggies and fruit. So when you find yourself craving all of the snacks, choosing veggies and fruit over a pastry is a smart move. So, fill your plate with crisps, like carrot crisps, cucumbers, fresh berries. This will ensure that you are satisfied and that you are feeling health conscious. So, and don't be afraid to steal fruit from the continental breakfast if you're in a hotel, or pack your own snacks. Opting for veggies and fruit will keep you full and keep you feeling good. Quality, tip number 9. So quality over quantity. So frequently remind yourself that this conference food is often subpar in quality, if you're being honest. So if you decide to indulge, make it worth it. Indulge in a bagel with cream cheese, but not just any conference bagel. Try to find the finest one available, right? Perhaps you're in San Francisco and you know of this bagel shop around the corner. Enjoy that bagel from around the corner in that specialty bagel shop instead of that half stale plain bagel with a tiny tub of generic ice cream or cream cheese at the conference. Quality over quantity. Find the finest and enjoy that. Leave the half stale plain bagel at the conference. Tip number 10, seeking accountability from a colleague. And I love this one. Having a trusted colleague as an accountability partner is such a valuable resource. Before the convention, ask them, send them a message, text them, email them, ask them to help you stay on track. Maybe say to them, hey, a knowing glance from you, that will often prevent me from overeating. Or ask them to walk on breaks. I love this. Walk on breaks with them instead of hanging out at the snack table. Perhaps you can ask them to meet you at the hotel gym in the morning. Another one that I love is ask them to go back early to the hotel with you to avoid the over drinking. Find an accountability, one that will meet you at the gym, will go back to the hotel room with you so that you're not over drinking, that will walk with you, and perhaps, maybe just mention, hey, you said you didn't want to overindulge at the conference because we're going out tonight. Let's go take a walk. So finding an accountability partner. Tip number 11, prioritize your regular meals. So eating balanced meals throughout the day is important. A well-fed body is less enticed to consume unhealthy conference snacks. Therefore, a hearty breakfast or a protein-rich lunch, that provides you the essential support in adhering to your goals. Either holding out or starving yourself and being hangry is always a recipe for disaster. So be sure to eat and not fast, because that can lead to binge when all of the things are available to you. As well as if drinks are involved, it leads to the drunk munchies. If you don't eat enough throughout the day, this will happen. So eat your meals. Consume high protein, low calorie meals when possible. Don't starve yourself into the afternoon and evening, banking on that you can hold it together and not overdo it. So prioritize your regular meals so that you don't overdo it later in the day. Tip number 12, allow for flexibility. So ultimately, learning that embracing flexibility reduces the temptation of all of the forbidden foods. Of course, nothing is forbidden, but constantly denying yourselves of cheese and chocolate and red wine and cookies and cheesecake, those certain foods that you love, this will only intensify your desire for them. So as a result, incorporate these occasional treats with a reasonable framework. And the last thing, remember, it's just 1 week. It's not a lifetime. Maybe it's just a couple days, conferences, 2, 3, 4 days. But these strategies are tools to help maintain healthy eating habits during these conferences while enjoying for enjoyment and flexibility. I hope you found these tips helpful today. I would love for you to write a review or share this with someone who needs it. And as always, you're always doing better than you think you are. Bye for now.